Hello my lovies, and welcome back to another video here on my channel, where we are of course going to be doing Church of Samuel today. It's not just Church of Samuel, we're going to be going over all book properties. We're going to be covering Camp NaNoWriMo, my goals after Camp NaNoWriMo, where I'm going with this story, how I finish this story. All the fun details are here in this particular video. If that's something that you're interested in, stick tuned. I have recorded this video like 6 times now. The last time I got really into a good flow, my dog started barking, I had to cut off. Then I was going to go swimming, and then I came back, and now we're here. So, I am pre-recording. Obviously, I pre-recorded the week before for the videos that are going up. And this has been a video I promised you guys forever ago, and I've decided I was going to try to finally do it. So, if you guys did not know, my camp in the month of July is Camp NaNoWriMo, which is simply preparation for November. Or, no. In the month of August, no, July, I'm right. And so I had a goal of finishing a 70,000 word document that I had been working on for 5 months prior to that, called Church of Samuel. I've had several videos dedicated to this book in case that is something that you're interested in and something you really want to see. I have several videos dedicated to it in case that's, you know, all things you want to know. It's about a boy named Abel who gets caught having sex with a male, and he is sent off to a conversion therapy school where he is supposed to be turned straight, and horrible, horrible things happen to him as he progresses. It is a horror novel, straight up, and it's disturbing as, like, whew. It's extremely adult, and it deals with some very, very dark trigger themes. Like, trigger warnings go on for days. And I loved practically every minute of it. By the end, I was really trying to hit towards the end, but I'm going to talk about Camp NaNoWriMo for a second, just because I'm going to talk about my experience. Now, I didn't really post any vlogs as they were so freaking long. I was updating you guys about every little detail, which I know a lot of you guys have seemed to be enjoying in my later vlogs, as I have decided to say, I don't care, you're going to get the 50-minute vlog, it's over. You know, it's what it is. But there is a few of you guys who like the shorter ones, the shorter, like, 10, 15, 20-minute vlogs, and which I can totally understand. I just talk a lot. It is what it is. This video is probably like 30 minutes long. You know, it is what it is. I do talk quite a bit. And I could, if I had more time, spend there and edit it a little bit better, but it's a struggle, okay? Either way. So, for that month, I decided to set out. I had 20 or 30,000 words in the document, and I had probably 3/4 of an outline ready to go. Well, let me tell you. Can I tell you for a second? Let me tell you that, I didn't write anything for the first, like, 12 days. And then I got in my head that maybe it's because I don't have my outline finished and I don't really know the rest of my story. I fully fleshed out my outline. It got me super inspired to come back in here and write the rest of this book. I wrote 10,000 words, or somewhere around there, in between 8 and 10,000 words, in 4 days. I did a 10K write-a-thon. I have a vlog for that by Mandy Lynn. I have a pin, which I could have grabbed. Some videos it's in, some videos it's not. I keep forgetting about it. But I have a pin for a 10K write-a-thon. I wrote 10,006 words. You guys can watch that vlog. It's on my channel. And then I was like, okay, I have so and so amount of days. I had 26,000 words left in the document that I need to get to be able to feel somewhat complete with myself for the words that I'm getting. And I wanted this completed by the end of July. Well, July came around, the end of July came around, and I reached my goal, which was like 43,000 words in my document. And so I won Camp NaNoWriMo, yay for Jacob, but I never did finish that book. And so I gave myself 3 extra days to write 20-something thousand words. It's like 24,000, 23,000 words or something like that. Outlandish amount of words in 2 days, in 3 days. I did it in 2. I gave myself 3. I wrote like 200 words on Friday. So, on that Friday. And this is all vlogged. You guys can see the whole process, my word count from wherever I started to where I ended. That's all my thing. I'm talking about a little bit here. And so I had struggles in Camp NaNoWriMo. I still won. Still pretty proud about that. I did lower my goal quite a bit. Not to win Camp NaNoWriMo, but for the progression of the story. The story was a 90,000 word novel, and it dropped down to 70 with outlining. I mean, it just wasn't, I was cutting it too short. I mean, I'm making it too long. Now, as I finish the book, there's a chapter I still need to finish because I did not bring myself wanting to write it, in which I'm going to get into a little thing about that a little bit later. Then I have 2 other chapters, which are developmental edit chapters, where they are simply the inciting incident where Abel gets caught with the boy happens at the end of the first chapter, and I wanted to end at the third or fourth chapter. And so I had to add some backstory. Abel is a character that goes through this horrible progression throughout the book. His character gets really, really unlikable by the end, and he starts out really likable. And I really don't really think you really know that about Abel. You just know he's really boy crazy. And honestly, I've not read a lot of gay books where it's complete boy crazy in a way that Abel is. And so, like, I was still okay with that. But I want some character development. I want some progression here. And so I need those extra few chapters. I need some devotion to the church that he's a part of and other things to really move this story forward. And so, yeah. So there's still probably like 6,000 or 7,000 words unhinged here. The draft itself came out to be 63,400 without those 2 to 3 extra chapters and one of the last final chapters of the book because, like I said, wasn't in the mood to write. And which brings me to my next subject, is that if something is uncomfortable for you to write, one, I do have a rule. If I get super uncomfortable writing it, I cut it. Necessary to a story, maybe I'll make a hint to what's happening, but I'll cut it completely because if I don't feel like writing it, you shouldn't feel like reading it. I think it's a dual process here. Let me know if that's a wrong way to do that. But I also know that sometimes in a bad mental health space, which had a big portion of me writing this, is that I got into a horrible, horrible bad mental health space. And so I knew what I was writing, and I was in such a good mental health space towards the end, and I wrote so much about a lot of the chapters in the last day, 8 or 9 chapters in that last day. And so I knew going into it that I was probably not writing. I had already agreed to myself that I was going to let later, Jacob, when I come back and I do revisions on it, whenever that is, you know, to worry about it then. And I'm perfectly okay with that. Some people are not. Some people are like, no, I need every word in this document. My mom joked about it, and she totally understood, but she still joked about it. But either way, the book came out to be 38 chapters. It's going to come out to be 40 to 41 chapters in the end. And I couldn't be happier with the final product. I mean, it's not the final product. I mean, I'm going to hold the first page. By the way, it's a hefty little book. But it even says up here, the shitty draft, because it is the shitty draft. I mean, this is, you know, it is the shitty draft. It's just what it is. Which is fine. It's the first draft. It's the draft where you get all the words out on the paper. So when you go back and you reread it and you're going through every scene and you're trying to figure out which scenes to keep, which scenes to cut, which scenes don't make sense, how can I make this better, how can I make this better, you have everything you possibly need right here. So ultimately, you're adding on to things that you need to work on. But when you cut things, you're still not falling into the void. Now, this draft came out to be 63,400 words. 400 words is a horror adult thriller, which normally ranges between the low point of 60 to the high point of 80. And so I kind of wanted to be in the sweet range of 70. So if I drop into the 60s, it's okay. If I raise into the 80s, it's okay. You know, or if I raise higher than 70, you know what I mean? Like, the balance scale right there is kind of hard, but it's still kind of easy for my brain to handle. And, yeah, no, that's not what happened with this one. This one was one of those ones where, I didn't underwrite it. If I underwrote it, I would say me underwriting the story would be around 55 to 50K. And we got more than that. We got 63,000 words instead. And so it's not underwritten. I also know there's several chapters that haven't even seen the light of day, and so that will add on to the word count. Before I go back and I edit it, I only gave it to one person, my dad. He's been dying to read it since I started working on it. He's been my right-hand man for this whole process. You know, this book is because of him, and I'm so grateful for that. And so I gave him a PDF copy on his phone so he can read it at work, while he does other things, not like, you know, he doing things, and he can read it whenever he wants. And so, yeah, it came out to be 321 pages. Now, this is double space, and it's not in Times New Roman. Sue me. It's the first draft. I can print it out in whatever copy I want, okay? So I do think Times New Roman did drop it. I think it's like 252 pages or something like that. Either way, it's still really close. I don't really care about page count right now. It's not the final draft. The final draft is when all that stuff really matters, the final pointers, you know, and personally, this is a horror book. If it's 200 and something pages, I bet it makes sense to be 200 and something pages. I do want to hold up the big behemoth of a draft, though. So, this is what it looks like. My printer does not print out double-sided, so before you freak out, this is not 600 and something pages. This is 300, just, like, like, if it go down, if they're not double-sided type thing. Now, a lot of people, some people, do not pay attention to the rules that I think Kate Kavanaugh put out really nicely about printing out your draft and letting it sit. One, when you go back and you reread it in 2 months, much of what I'm going to be doing, like I said, I'll talk about it, you know, you want to read it in a different media. You want to read it from fresh eyes. You also, if you're giving it to any beta readers, you want to give them that 2-month period to give you as much feedback as humanly possible in 2 months. So when you do dive back into it, you are completely, you know, you don't read the feedback until you make your own feedback, and you compare them. And then if you guys come with the same things, that means these are big issues. If they have other problems, and not everything a beta says is necessary to change. My mom knows that firsthand, is that there's a lot of things that she tells me that are really, really cool. My dad's told me a lot of cool things about this that didn't make it into the final cut. My mom told me a lot of cool things about Elizabeth Snow that didn't make it to the final cut, but there's also a lot of pointers that they give me that do end up making it into the final cut at some point. So yeah. So moving on from Camp NaNoWriMo, what are my goals after? So I am participating in NaNoWriMo. I'll be doing a whole series on October. For pre-October, how do you get prepared for that? What you need, your survival kits and all that fun stuff to get through the month of NaNoWriMo, writing 50,000 words. I'm writing a historical fiction, pretty sure, novel, and so I'm going to be doing a lot of research in the month of October while sitting down and reading this. But with that being said, I am not moving forward with printing with this one. I have decided already it's too dark for my first novel. Personally, if I did, and I will probably try to sell it, maybe I will be selling it under a pen name, not my own name, as I do not want this in my own name. There are so many things here that I think would sell really well, and I think there's an audience for it. I just don't think I want my name on it. And that's not saying it's horrible writing. It's not saying it's a horrible book. I'm just saying that it can be taken in so many different ways, such as anti-religious or homophobic or any of these different triggers that personally I never had any intentions of taking it, and I don't want that on my name as I'm a new to debut. I'll be a debut author, and so I would rather a pen name get destroyed by anything, by critics, media, whatever it is, than my name that I'm going to be trying to produce other books in. And then when I feel comfortable 10 years down the line, and I'll be like, no, it was me. You know what I mean? And so, yeah, it would be like a secretive pen name, like, you know, release it, does okay, I'm not going to do so much press for it type thing. I might be like the fake author who's on Twitter and makes a fake account and be like, read my book. But that's about it. Like, I'm not going to go super far. So that's how Church Samuel is going to work. And that's only because, I mean, in edits to come, I could die down some things. But I think ultimately, with the character that we're dealing with and the reasons why and his background, I think homophobia is an ever-growing issue. And I think in the environment that is this, it's super disheartful, but it's super true. And I've had friends who went through conversion therapy, and they have told me it. I've known people, I've watched movies, like memoirs, I've read memoirs, and everything does kind of stay true except for the really big element that is a part of the final third of this book, which is also why I think it's going to turn off a lot of people. So, there's so many things here, so many elements, so many things I try to tackle in Church Samuel that it's just, sometimes you just gotta write, you know, under a pen name. I think my categories that I want to write in my name are YA anything, and then contemporary anything, like contemporary adult novels. Thrillers and everything else, I want somewhere else. They get really dark, they get really sadistic, they really get twisted, and some people can handle all that. Some people can handle the really ballistic violence that is towards thriller authors, and, you know, I could never be one. I mean, I want to be one, but I could never, like, really be one, you know what I mean? And so it is what it is, and I think it's the perfect way to go. And some authors like a pen name. I mean, J.K. Rowling posted a very, very dull, sexy thriller, and she had to do it under her pen name for a very long time because her brand is Harry Potter. If you're trying to build your brand, you have to make sure you want to build it correctly, and this is just not the brand I want to build. It is what it is. It's very true. Nothing I've ever written anything like it before, and I love every minute of it, and I can't wait to promote it out of it if it ever does get published, but it's not the book I'm moving forward with, and if I do, I will not be telling you guys about it. I will be telling you guys about my revisions and things like that, as it's going to be kind of fun to do with you. But with that being said, revisions will probably be held off until, I think I'm going to do it Camp NaNoWriMo of April of next year is when I'm going to like fully focus on revisions. I am reading it in October, writing down a whole bunch of notes, but I'm not moving any forward in the note process. My dad does have a copy. The copies, if I do have beta reads or anything like that, they won't be popping out until, you know, mid next year. So if this is a story that really is interested in and you really, really want to know more about, always DM me so I can put you on a list somewhere. I can put you in a file and be like, hey, this might be a potential beta reader for this story. But that being said, we should move on since I talked so much about this. I also want to say that I'm a Scribner. Never thought I'd say that one. But I am. I am using Scribner so much. I love it to death. And I'm just really, really happy about it. And so if you are intimidated by Scribner, you should totally go ahead and do it. All I did was I read the manual, which is what you read when you first open a Scribner project. It's what the first thing, you read the tutorial. I would read the tutorial. I have it open, I have a saved document, I always have it open in case I have any questions, and I know I can go directly there. Then also read the manual tutorial for whatever you're trying to write. They do go through it step by step so you're not confused in any way possible, and I'm loving it to death. I'm writing so many different type of medias in it. I'm keeping my daily prompts and everything, which I'm going to get to at the very end. There's two little side things, and if you guys are really, really interested in my writing and want to read my writing, I have two little quirks at the very end if that's something that you're interested in. But with that being said, we're going to move on to what my next project is. So I'm taking a 2-week grace period, which I'm already a week into, and it's been fun, and I've been doing some really fun things, which I'm going to mention at the very end of this video, as they don't really pertain to here, they pertain later. And so, the next book I'm going to be working is I have a contemporary project. I have a whole book writing video dedicated to that. There is no song in this one, by the way, because it's so much updating. Sorry. But I do have a contemporary project that I'm working on, and I'm fast-drafting that, just like I fast-wrote. I'm just writing so many more words than I wrote this. And it's going to be around 65K as well. And I'm fast drafting it to be done in the middle of September as early October. October, I want to be done with it because of me moving into, you know, the history stuff for my NaNoWriMo project. But NaNoWriMo project could be moved until April or even July of next year, and that is just simply because after I get done with this project, we are going to be sitting down and we're going to be evaluating all of my books, all of my projects, all of my novels that I've written over the years, and deciding which ones have the best factors, which ones I want to move forward with as an author, which ones I want to throw my whole entire blood, sweat, and tears behind, write a query letter, try to get an agent, and try to do it traditional publishing, and really make a name for myself. That's my goal in life. That's one of my goals for a very long time now, to be a traditional author, published, and so that's still very much my goal. And the process of that is that I want to finish all the drafts I have that could be, you know, contenders to be my first draft. I have a feeling I know what book I am moving forward with. It's not a book I really talked about here. I had to mention it in previous videos, but I do think it's going to be the one I'm moving forward with. And my mom might have different opinions. My dad or my sister, they all might have different opinions, as I do have a few front-runner contenders. One of them is extremely adult, whereas the other one's more childlike, and so I'm just going to have to try to figure out which line I want to walk down, and type thing like that. So it all depends on so many scenarios and so many, like, different, like, moments and options and different things like that. But that's what I'm moving forward with. I'm going to be finishing my contemporary project. We're doing reading vlogs right now. I'm not doing the best with reading, but I'm doing them anyways. And then we're going to move back into writing vlogs. And I'm going to try to get myself on a healthy schedule for writing purposes. And so I'm very, very excited about that. Ultimately, I think it's going to be a very fun experience, and I'm very happy about it. Now, moving on from camp and what I'm doing after camp, let's talk about some fun things I'm going to add in here at the end, as I don't remember if I had anything else to talk about. I don't think I did. If you guys also, by the way, fun fact, if you guys want a more in-depth idea of how my process went for my fastest fast draft ever, which is Church of Samuel, I wrote that in 5 months. I've never written anything that fast before unless it was a poetry collection or something like that. I've written a poetry collection. I'm writing a book right now, in which is what I'm about to mention. I'm fully writing it, and it's probably going to take me up until like Thursday, maybe even Wednesday of next week to finish it. And that's just because it's a type of different media, you know, and so I think that's very important to notice. So, speaking of writing, and in case you do want to read some of my writing before you could read it anywhere else, I am on Wattpad. Wattpad is kind of taboo now. Like, it's like one of those things that used to be like, oh, I'm on Wattpad, you know? And now you're like, I'm on Wattpad, you know? And so, like, it is what it is. The story I'm writing is made for Wattpad. I'm taking down my other 2 stories because they might be the one I'm traditionally publishing. And it's nice to have an audience, but the audience isn't really big there. And my audience personally over there isn't super huge. And so that's why I'm just mentioning it here in case you guys want to read it. It is called The Perfect... What is it called? The Perfect Boy? The Perfect something. Wow. The Perfect One. Yeah, that sounds right. The Perfect One, and it is a book full of different multimedia type things, such as text messages, dialogue, like images, whole 9 yards. Wattpad got updated about a year ago, and I want to play around with it, and so I made a whole book dedicated to it. And it deals with some pretty strong topics, but I do give you guys warnings before we jump into them. And it's a 32 chapter book with 3 parts, and it's really fun, and I'm having a blast creating it, and it's like my side little project as I need writing in my life. Speaking of something else, I'm going to link my Tumblr down below, which is Jacob_is_here at .tumblr.com, and it is simply where I answer daily prompts. I answer them, you know, every single day when I get done for my running. I write, you know, I quickly get on my laptop, I write a 200-word answer to a prompt that I find on the internet, and I post it onto my Tumblr. As it's just something fun to do more with the community. You guys can see more of my writing directly from me. These are unedited, and then I come back like 2 days later and I edit them. But at that moment when I post them, they are unedited, unless I do end up editing them, which is relatively weird. I give myself 10 minutes to write my heart's content, and some of them turned out really nice, some of them have not. There's like 5 up right now. I'm just starting this challenge, and I want to make it a daily occurrence, and so it's going in my habit tracker, like writing prompt. Did you do that today? Check it off, you know, type thing. So yeah, that's my updates, I think, for my book. The things I've been working on. I have a vlog for 10K if you want to see me accomplish that. I have a vlog for if you want to see me finish my first draft and freak out and cry over it. I got that too. So if these are things that interest you, please please go ahead and check out those extra videos. But guys, if you want to go ahead and comment down below if there's anything you like talking about here. Go right ahead. I'll talk to you guys very, very soon with another video soon. Thank you for watching. And do all the fun YouTube things such as subscribe, hit the bell button, like, and comment. And thank you for watching.